Good afternoon. Well, in one of your books, and I'm referring to A Tale of Love and Darkness, you dissociate yourself from the model of the European Jew, the one who experienced the diaspora, but at the same time you question the myth of the new Jew to which you could not conform. So, what is, in your opinion, the identity of the Jew of today? Thank you.
Yes, well, I think the European Jews, the Jews in exile, were forced into somewhat abnormal condition. They could not live like other peoples because in many, many countries they were not allowed to purchase land and become farmers. Their homes were not exactly their homes. Their towns were not exactly their towns. They were confined to ghettos. They lived a very ambivalent and ambiguous existence. As a result, they were pushed into either intellectual or financial occupations. They became doctors, they became physicians, they became entertainers, they became businessmen, they became traders, they became financiers, which evoked a lot of anger, hatred, and suspicion, and the suspicion even created further distance between them and the others. In Israel, the Jewish people tries to normalize, tries to create the kind of normality which every other nation has, which Italy has, or France, or Sweden. Namely, some of us are farmers, and some others are working class, and some others are middle class, and some others are entertainers, and some others are intellectuals or politicians or artists. We have the usual variety of occupations, and also the sense that this country, Israel, is at last home. My relatives who lived in Europe never felt at home in their countries. They felt like guests, sometimes like welcome guests, sometimes like unwanted guests, but always like guests. They always had to ask themselves, are we liked or are we disliked? And what do we have to do in order to be liked? And why are we disliked when we are disliked? This created a situation of emotional tension, and I would say a certain emotional deformation. When a person always have to ask first thing in the morning, do they like me? Why do they like me? Don't they like me? What should I do so that they would do like me after all? This creates a deformation and a suffering. Whereas in Israel, despite of the conflict with the Palestinians, despite of the hardships and the difficult problems, there is a sense of normalcy. Yes, we are now at last, like every other nation, we are at home. This home is not perfect. This home is not wonderful. This home is at conflict with the next door neighbors. This home has problems. This home is sometimes not very clean, especially the politics. But it is home. So the major difference for the Jewish people between diaspora and Israel is that Israel gives the Jewish people a sense of home which the Jewish people never had in other countries, very few exceptions, very few exceptions. This is the major change, a sense of home.